Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago. Port of Spain, North St. Anne's East MP Stuart Young says the decision by Heritage Petroleum Company Limited to end sponsorship of Skiffle Bunch Steel Orchestra and Siparia Deltones Steel Orchestra forms part of what he calls an ongoing pattern of reduced support for steel bands. Now, of course, I'm not really aware of the reason why they lost sponsorship. Time alone will tell. I'm not sure whether I agree with it or not. Nevertheless, for PNM to oppose anything is pure hypocrisy. My response: did the mighty morphing Ghanaian PNM abandon Soca Monarch for a year or more? What did they call it back then? Patriotic belt tightening. And of course, individuals online were saying it was because of the C-19 lockdown and all sorts of nonsense. But weren't they trying to preserve culture back then during the so-called crisis? So why was it that you decided to end sponsorship of the Soca Monarch back then? But of course, anything that PNM does is justifiable, you know. Anything that the UNC does, of course, is totally wrong. Ladies, meet your new go-to bag, our Mega Duffel handbag, perfect for your travel, shopping, the gym, and everything in between. Crafted from premium Oxford material, it's not just stylish, it's built to last. The ideal size, flawless design, and unbeatable quality make it the bag you'll reach for every time. Versatile and ready for anything. WhatsApp 762-6589 to order yours today. Opposition MP Keith Colpott, Scotland, says the home invasion legislation must be rejected as it is draconian in his mind. Captain Colpott says so it must be true. He said the bill gives people the right to murder possible innocents and that people can end up, now he said innocence, so don't come and correct me. That's what is written there. And that people can end up dead if they go paranging the wrong house. Scotland asked, since when in TNT property has been equated with life and why a homeowner should have the right to kill someone in defense of property. It's not about really defending your property. It's the reality that when people invade your property, a lot of the times they end up harming the individuals, the homeowners, and their loved ones. Captain Colpott. And you know that. But of course, you're just trying to be an author of confusion at this point in time. He said, according to the bill, a home invader is a person who knowingly enters or remains at a dwelling house in which he is not an occupant with intention to carry out a home invasion. Well, did you hear yourself admitting what it is stated in the law? With the intent of carrying out a home invasion, that is a crime, Captain Colpott. And this broadly describes it. Anyone know that is not true. A visitor has no intention, a genuine visitor, whether family or friend, a pastor, even a police officer, has no intent to invade your home, which usually means that they're going to steal or harm individuals within that home, Captain Colpott. I'm telling you, I just don't understand how the media tries to portray these or tries to even report these types of statements made by the PNM as though it's truth, as though it's facts, as though it makes even any type of sense you really have to wonder. But then you don't have to, because the media is controlled by the 1%, and the 1% controls the PNM. My response: what's the name of the parang band that Captain Colpot is defending? Is it Los Criminolos? Banditero? I don't know. Why would anyone attempt to invade another person's home unless they were given permission to do so via a court order? Otherwise, it has to be because of criminal intent. Not so? Anyhow, wouldn't police officers be present under those circumstances, like if it have a bailiff or whatsoever? Usually, it's required that police officers will be present if you're going to give a summons or whatever. And then it's police officers that usually carry out that duty. So why else would someone invade a person's home legally unless it's because of a court order? Can you tell us that, Captain Colpot? Anyhow, the PNM continues to spew utter nonsense in defense of criminals in society who seek to steal, kill, and destroy. Whether you're an independent or a PNM voter, as I said yesterday, UNC or a member of another political party, we, the people, all have the right to defend ourselves, your family, and property from anyone who's attempting to invade or commit acts of violence. Do not let these PNM politicians fill your minds with foolish thoughts, people. No more overheating phones. Cool your phones in seconds. Prevents damage to phones and battery issues. Better gaming experience and streaming. USB powered and fast charging. Lightweight and quiet. Ideal for kids and adults. Works with all smartphones. Makes a great gift. Call or WhatsApp 868-762-6589. One day after saying there were no United States Marines in the country, I'm not even sure if Kamla Persad-Bissessep, the Prime Minister, actually even said that using those specific words. She may or may not have. But anyhow, that's what PNM3 media says. So Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessep confirmed that a new radar is being installed by the United States and Tobago to monitor activities inside and outside Trinidad and Tobago. Even if the Marines were here to be able to install that radar, they were not here for any other particular reason or to plan to invade Venezuela. And that's probably why Kamla Persad-Bissessep made whatever statement she did. Okay? I would probably want to hear the video, what they're trying to debunk. The PNM3 media is trying to debunk. And then I will probably even be able to give a better perspective on it. My response: okay, PNM3. And so what? Even if she denied it at that point in time, once again, Kamla Persad-Bissessep, even though she's the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, when you make certain types of agreements with an ally, you do not disclose sensitive or confidential information until you are given the liberty to do so. That's all about being diplomatic, people. But remember, the PNM and their media are trying to shine a bad light on the United National Congress government. And also they're trying to actually even incite violence indirectly, so they cannot be charged with anything. But they're planting seeds in the mind of Maduro to make him think as though, listen, Trinidad wants to invade all here. That's exactly what is happening. That is why I continue to say that the media here in Trinidad and Tobago are actually committing treason at this point in time. So let me read over my response there quickly and move on with the news report. So I said, okay, PNM3, and so what? It will be used to protect our territory from tyrants like Maduro and other narco-terrorists, human traffickers, drug traffickers, criminals, people. Premium touchscreen wireless headsets restocked. 1.9-inch HD full-color touchscreen. ANC and ENC noise reduction for crystal clear calls. 9D panoramic sound. Long battery life and fast charging. Control music, videos, TikTok, YouTube, and much more. Camera feature, voice assistant, timer, stopwatch, and lyrics on screen. Water resistant, sleek design. Available in gold, black, blue, and purple. Gift ready packaging with replacement earbuds included. Never lose your earbuds again with the Find Headphones feature that actually works. Don't miss out. WhatsApp 762-6589 to place your order. Limited stock available. In some extravagant news, Gonzalez loses St. Vincent and the Grenadines elections. Yes, people. In a landmark political transformation, the New Democratic Party, NDP, has secured a victory in 2025 national elections, concluding a quarter century, 25 years period outside the government's central leadership. Dr. Godwin, Friday, the party leader, will become the island's 7th prime minister since its 1979 independence, after winning a tightly contested electoral race against long-serving former Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves. My response? This, people, in reality, is the third loss for the mighty morphing Ghanaian PNM in 2025. People say, but PNM is not in those other countries, but those are their close allies. First, it was here in TNT when they lost in Guyana, and now in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. After all, their allies are now in the political dustbin. Tired of losing your keys, phone, or coins in that annoying gap between your car seat and the console? We've got the perfect solution. Our universal car seat gap fillers are back in stock, ready to save your stuff and make your ride clutter-free. Available in black, brown, beige, and red, they're designed to fit any car seat and blend perfectly with your interior. Simply WhatsApp 762-6589 to place your order and enjoy delivery straight to your door in just 1 to 3 days. President Dr. Irfan Ali has once again assured the Guyanese populace that the People's Progressive Party Civic administration remains steadfast in honoring the commitments it makes to the nation, just like how the Kamala Prasad administration is attempting to do in Trinidad and Tobago. The head of state emphasized that the government's vision extends far beyond immediate expectation of a cash bonus. A lot of individuals who oppose the government right now in Guyana only focusing on the cash bonus, even though the Irfan Ali administration has been doing so much to carry Guyana towards first world status. It's going to take years, of course. But anyhow, pointing instead to a broad development framework designed to uplift citizens' lives in a sustainable manner. He said, I'm going to announce a comprehensive slew of measures that would include, of course, the cash transfer to families before the ending of the year. So they're still going to receive their cash grants. That will take us not only into the next year, but will take us into our cycle of government in the next 5 years. The head of state said during an interview earlier this month, he emphasized that the administration is pursuing a holistic approach that goes beyond immediate financial relief to address the diverse needs of the citizens of Guyana. You won't be disappointed with this one. Look and feel great every day. Painless trimming with no pulling of hair guaranteed. Comfortable to hold and lightweight. Intelligent anti-pinch system. Safety travel lock. Accurate and painless trimming. Durability, 100% quality. Fast charging. To place an order, call or WhatsApp 868-762-6589. President Dr. Irfan Ali on Thursday affirmed that the ongoing extradition case against the embattled father-son duo Nazar Shell Mohammed and Azruddin Mohammed will follow due process. Speaking to the reporters on the sidelines of an event, the head of state expressed his thoughts on the recent statements publicly made by Azruddin, who has suggested that the extradition matter could take at least 5 years or more to conclude. In other words, he'll be able to have sufficient time to remain in Parliament. I hope that's not the case. Let due process be in a very short space of time. This man has very serious charges hanging over his head, people. The Jamaica Independent Schools Association is raising concerns over what it describes as insufficient engagement from the Ministry of Education as private institutions struggle to recover from the extensive damage caused by Hurricane Melissa. JISA President Tamar McKenzie told the Jamaica Gleaner, that 10 of the 12 independent schools in Westmoreland were severely affected, with 3 currently inoperable and all reporting incidents of looting. Bear in mind that Prime Minister Andrew Holness said that even though there were funds allocated from various sources, the procurement process is still is taking place. I want to know how long that procurement process needs before it's concluded. Come on, Andrew Holness, people are waiting for assistance. Don't stop trying to make excuses. That money was funded for the people of Jamaica. Distributed to them, please. International news now. One of the largest gas fields in Kurdistan region of Iraq was attacked last night using suicide drones. The field is jointly owned by the United Arab Emirates, 70% of it, and Kurdish entities, 30%. The immediate suspect, pro-Iranian Shia militias in Iraq. Individuals that, of course, Trinidadians and Jamaicans and people throughout the Caribbean will call freedom fighters, destroying property that belongs to their own people. Why? Because, of course, the Sunnis and the Shias are always fighting amongst themselves, even though they're not supposedly, they're all Arabs. Australia has officially designated the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization. I'm quite surprised about that because at this point in time, Australia is governed by a very extreme far-left radical socialist government, a regime. So I'm quite surprised about that. But nevertheless, that's good news. This decision follows their involvement in hostile activities targeting Jewish communities in Australia last year. So it took almost a year for you all to make this decision. Once again, this actually explains it to an extent. I'm sure if it was a conservative government in office, this declaration would have come much sooner. President Trump says the shooting in Washington is a terrorist event. I suspected so. 500 additional National Guard members will be deployed in the capital. I fully agree with him. He said the terrorist Ramunallah Lake Nawal, 29, who immigrated from Afghanistan to the U.S. with the withdrawal of U.S. military forces from the country, took place in 2021, and therefore, of course, that was under the Biden administration. And there was some radical leftists online recently that was trying to blame Trump for this man's act of terrorism, as though Trump was the one that invited him to come into this country. Well, not this country, but America. Telling you the deception and hypocrisy on the left, on the Democrat side, is so obvious for the whole world to see, yet people continue to remain in denial, most of the times because of tribalism. Closing off now with the interesting facts segment. Nearly half of all gold ever mined on Earth came from the Witwatersrand Basin in South Africa. Wow, this ancient geological formation contains some of the richest gold deposits ever discovered and has shaped global supply for more than a century. The region-powered mining towns influenced world markets and became one of the most important resource sites in human history. Its scale shows how a single landscape can transform economies across continents, entire continents. God's creation, I'm telling you, He is the one that put all that gold there. It didn't come out of thin air or because of dark matter, people. It's because of God's creation. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe. Most of all, enjoy your weekend as well. In Jesus' name.